Momentum, 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 momentum. Look at the latest polls that we're seeing right now at a national level. Some of these 7 new national polls has Donald Trump trailing to Vice President Kamala Harris. The Civics poll by 4, the Ledger poll by 3, FAU by 2. The Economist, which again is widely regarded in polling circles as one of the kind of top tier out there, was previously +3 Trump. It's now moved +2 Vice President Kamala Harris. That's what's going on at the national level. You know, we're also seeing, though, in states that for a long time have now been viewed as they were once kind of purple and now they're red, like Florida. We are seeing a lot of momentum there as well on the ground. I mean, I think you probably have all seen right now the golf cart rally at the Villages, for example, which was traditionally viewed as kind of more of a conservative area. A lot of people out there showing support for Vice President Kamala Harris. So I thought it was important that we go to another district, though, in Florida, Florida's 35th House District, and we speak to Tom Keene. Tom prevailed in the special election back in January. He flipped a red district blue. He's a 21-year Navy vet. This was a tough race that you won in the special election. Millions of dollars were put in to try to hold that seat for right-wing people. You prevailed. First and foremost, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Ben. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
And I really just want to hear, what's going on in the ground. I mean, we're reporting on this momentum at a national level. We're seeing it throughout the country. But what are you seeing in your House district in Florida, in Florida's 35th House District?
Sure. So we've been knocking on doors like crazy. It is hot here. We've been hitting 100 degrees on some days, and we were getting a lot of thunderstorms as well. But we're out knocking on doors. I think people are energized. They're excited. I was cautiously optimistic several weeks ago, and when we had the change at the top of the ticket, and I think things are just getting even more exciting here on the ground here in Florida. And I definitely think that Florida is in play, that we are a purple state, and we'll show that this November.
Look, there were millions of dollars that were put into a special election in a Florida House seat to defeat you. You had to go knocking on doors and holding community events and shaking hands, and you had to reach out, not just to Democrats. You had to reach out to independents. You had to reach out to Republicans. And I remember back then, there was a lot. I remember reporting on your victory. A lot of people were pissed off that the government was taking away freedoms like reproductive rights. They were upset and frustrated that the government was just meddling, Republican governments, in areas that they shouldn't, and frankly, being weird. And I know this has now become kind of a theme that we're hearing more. But, what I remembered about your campaign is that you were talking just about, hey, can we just be normal here? And can we not deal with all of this chaos? And let's just protect people's freedom. So tell us about that. And do you think that now the country's kind of catching up in a way to what was going on in the 35th then?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there, right? So while our governor was talking about all sorts of crazy things, weird things, I was focused on property insurance. We have the highest property insurance rates in the country right here in Florida. It's a crisis, and we weren't hearing that at all. So that was one of the themes that I took to voters, that how important it is for us to solve your problems, your checkbook problems, your kitchen table issues that are affecting you every single day. And let's stop talking about some of this other stuff, this anti-woke nonsense that they were trying to bring up. So clearly that resonated. I will also tell you that more Republicans voted in my race in the general election this past January than Democrats. So that should tell you something as well. I think even Republicans were fed up with what they were seeing in Tallahassee. Now we can also talk about, reproductive freedom as well. That's another hot issue right now. We have an amendment on the ballot. We'll see how that plays out here in November, but I'm confident that the Floridians want to stay free, right? They want to be of that free Florida there that we hear from the governor all the time. Can't be free if you can't make your own reproductive decisions.
One of the things that I don't think corporate media has fully appreciated the phenomenon is that, and we cover it as part of, we call it our mass exodus series of, we share stories of Republicans. Some may still consider themselves Republicans. They haven't officially made the change, but for all purposes, they believe the party's left them, and they see a distinction between being a conservative and a Republican and whatever this MAGA thing is, which is this kind of WWE cosplay fascism Trump thing where Hulk Hogan is at the Republican National Convention ripping off his shirt and saying, the Hulkster's telling you to do this. And to your point, I mean, you know, when people are sitting around the kitchen table and they're thinking about property insurance and they're thinking about their 401ks and they're thinking about where was my toilet paper 4 years ago? Where's my 401k today? I think that resonates more than is even being kind of discussed out there. And now when you're out there shaking hands, do you just hear people who are just talking to you about, you know, hey, can we just be normal here? This stuff's just so weird. Like just make things normal.
I like the word that we're phrasing here, weird, because that really encapsulates exactly what it's been, right? So folks want to have their problem solved. And if it's not a problem, why are we talking about it, right? So let's concentrate, let's focus in on things that we as state legislators can do. And property insurance is number one on folks' radar right now. And quite frankly, I think that might end up being a nationwide issue here over the coming years. As well. We've got to get our arms around how to solve that problem. And so Floridians, they just want to be able to go to work. And by the way, we've got a great economy going on here in Florida. Of course, you wouldn't know that if you only listen to one side of the spectrum there. Our economy's well, unemployment's down, people are working, and we still have problems that we've got to solve. And again, just very simply, property insurance is the number one problem right here in Florida. Not just for homeowners, but also for renters and businesses. It's just incredible how expensive it's gotten to live right here in Florida, just on the housing side.
Let's talk about some of those other issues that people really want to hear politicians talking about. I always hear people say, look, I just wish these politicians would talk to me about policy and what they're going to do for me versus all of the, you know, the strange attacks and this woke nonsense that's run its course. So you mentioned property insurance. So if let's start local, but also national. All politics is local, but in these national races too, you got to know what people are saying in the communities. I mean, I think that's what everyone's often ignoring. What we're focused on here on the MeidasTouch network is what's happening in community. What are people really talking about? So, look, you're running for re-election after the special election. You have to kind of run this quick race right after. So what do people want? What are people talking about? What are you talking to them about? And draw that contrast to who you're running against.
Sure. So, and then there are a couple other issues besides property insurance. And we've got two amendments that are on the ballot, one for reproductive freedom. We've just talked about that. That's incredibly important. Women's reproductive freedom. We keep talking about the free state of Florida, and that's like the number one freedom I think that you can have. We also have Amendment 3, which is the adult use of marijuana, and I think that is also another freedom that we want to bring to the state of Florida. We have medical marijuana right now. This opportunity to provide marijuana on without a medical card, I think will be a game changer in Florida as well. It will bring in extra income, but in addition, it will decriminalize a lot of the stigma that's gone along with marijuana. And a lot of folks have gone to jail over, and we need to change that here too. And folks are talking about that. There's no question.
Do you think now, with the momentum around Vice President Kamala Harris, Florida should be looked at not so much as a red state? You think if Trump and the MAGAs taken Florida as a red state for granted, they should be worried about it? Should it be viewed more as a purple state now with the momentum, or are you still hedging a little bit there?
Well, I want them to take it for granted. I want them to just get lulled into that false sense of security, because quite frankly, I do believe that we are a purple state, and we're going to see some surprising numbers come in November. Absolutely.
Well, especially now with the momentum there, it means, momentum around your race. Where can people find out more information about you, Tom?
Sure. So I've got a website, Keen for Florida, KEENFORFL.com. Feel free to check out my website. There's an ActBlue link there as well. You know, you mentioned at the top of this interview that Republicans spent millions of dollars. So they're going to spend more again this time. I've got a huge target on my back. I need all the help I can get to win re-election this November. KeenForFlorida.com.
And, you know, look, it's so important when we focus on how it is that these red districts, you know, flip and what strategies are used and what's discussed. And oftentimes it's the same thing when we're speaking with someone who's flipped a House seat in Tennessee or someone who's flipped a House seat in Kentucky. There's a lot of noise out there, right? There's billions of dollars invested in some of these propaganda machines to make people feel a certain way. But you just got to knock on doors, talk to people, speak to them about the issues. And sometimes, you know, it's that simple. And Tom, you show that that's, you know, what others should be doing as well. So thanks for joining us. We hope you come back. We appreciate everything you're doing for the country and for your district.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you very much. Take care.
Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers thanks to your support, and have a great day.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.